I am Raymond Antonio, and I will be presenting my article critique on digital adoption, automation, and labor markets in developing countries by Alan Finkelstein Shapiro and Federico S. Mandelman. To commence, the research was created to better understand the interconnection between digital adoption, worker outcomes, and labor markets in developing countries with the research question, can digital adoption be linked with self-employment, unemployment, and increase in salaried firm entry and job creation? As for the methodology, the data derived from the World Bank reports and survey, which all in all involves businesses, government entities, and individuals across 180 economies, were analyzed by utilizing a matching model and calibration strategy. After the data analysis, the study concludes that there was no link between unemployment rates and technological application. Instead, the research analysis proposes that self-employment, which is an accessible option, plays a crucial role in shaping the connection between digital adoption and unemployment rates. And lastly, the reductions in the value of digital or information and communications technology or ICT adoption and barriers to business and firm entry are crucial between digital adoption and self-employment. Now, I will head on to the evaluation of the three sections of the research, starting with the strengths of the literature review and theoretical framework. First, the research literature and framework of the study complement other existing bodies of theoretical ideas about digital adoption in labor markets. For example, Finkelstein, Shapiro, and Mandelman utilize in their study the Garoni and Melitz framework. Second, the researchers were able to consider alternative scenarios in consideration of economic level, sectoral employment composition, and other viable incidences of self-employment with stylized facts from index reports to better understand the concept. As for the weaknesses, first, the researchers failed to discuss the level of satisfaction and production rate of the worker in response to ICT adoption and how these factors affect the salaried firm's turnover rates, which in turn can affect self-employment and unemployment rates. Second, the study was not able to take into consideration the educational attainment and level of skills that are susceptible and can be heavily impacted by the implementation of ICT tools, which is vital to further understand the varied effect of automation and digital adoption among low and high level skilled jobs. So, adjacent to the review of the literature and theoretical framework, the methodology of the article was assessed, starting with the strengths. So, for the first bullet, three related model outcomes were presented in support of the research analysis, providing credibility to the framework. Second, the limitation of the study was explicitly mentioned by the researchers, exhibiting transparency and a clear indication that the results attained can be interpreted and discerned with underlying conditions. As for the weaknesses, there was a lack of data utilized due to the absence of direct and comparable measures of job loss across developing countries. That's why the researchers assumed the unemployment rate as a simple indicator of job loss. And lastly, the respondent's social demographic information, the characteristics of jobs, and the accurate estimation of the population within the labor force were not conveyed in the study, which, if further assessed, will provide additional key details to the research analysis. Finally, the results and discussion were reviewed. For the strengths, the research questions are lucidly answered with models, frameworks, data, and existing related studies provided as actual pieces of evidence solidifying the credibility of the research outcomes. Second, the concluding analysis and results have been intricately presented, which is relevant to further understanding the composition of employment among developing countries, as well as the potential consequences of automation on those economies. As for the weaknesses, the research could have been expounded through other existing frameworks. For example, the inclusion of the effects of government reforms and policies in automation deployment, worker outcomes, and the labor market could have been discussed. There was also a lack of recommendations on aiding unemployment and strategies for firm entry, which, if provided, would have exhibited the research as an extensive resource of information. So wrapping up with the conclusion for this article critique, the research was systematically structured and presented, starting from the background of the study, the literature review, theoretical framework, methodology, and results and discussion. Since a rigorous quantitative analysis was performed, together with the data and complementing existing bodies of ideas considered, the results of the study proved credible and reliable. Although there was a lack of data, which, if all else considered, may yield a varied outcome in comparison to the result attained from the analysis of the research, still, the research can be referenced, replicated, and further expounded by other researchers who are interested in the topic of automation and the labor market. That's all, and thank you for watching.